Hi, Professor.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well.
Who's that baby doing?
Oh, he's doing a lot better. Elon, come, come. He's doing a whole lot better, thankfully. Say hi to my professor. Hi.
Hi, you are one good-looking young man. How are you?
Good.
You
I
feel better?
told him about your allergies, so he was checking to see how you were doing. Is it getting better?
You
Yeah,
know what? I have the same allergy.
you
I do, yeah, I do.
do.
So I'm happy that you feel better. So you be very careful about taking medicine unless mom and dad tell you that you can take it.
Okay.
Okay?
Use your words. Yeah.
Bye now. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
How old is he?
He's 3. Well, he's turning 4.
Yeah,
And
I was guessing 4.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's turning 4.
yeah, I don't want to scare you, but I had an eighth grade. This is really, I shouldn't even say what I'm about to say, but I already said I'm about to say it, so I'll say it. I had an eighth grade teacher who I adored. I adored this woman. She saved me. She really did. She did so many good things for me. I went to high school. In those days, I went to eighth grade, then you went to high school. And the year after we graduated, she reached out to several of the kids I went to school with that particular year, and she took us out for ice cream. And I thought I just got made king. To me, it was the most wonderful, thing that's ever happened to me. And 3 or 4 days later, she went to the doctor. This is, 50, 60 years ago now. I don't forget.
Hmm.
She went to the doctor and she got a penicillin shot right on the spot. Died.
Oh no.
Died. Yeah,
Apparently, a lot of people have the allergy, and I didn't know a lot of our family members.
that's what it is. My mother had it.
My husband's family, his mom, his sister, but theirs is mild. But his was just like,
Yeah, and especially if you don't know,
yeah.
one of my daughters has a little sensitivity to it, but and one of my grandchildren too. But a couple of times I took it by accident and I got pretty sick. It wasn't terrible sick, but I got pretty sick. So I'm glad he's
Wow.
better. And,
Yeah.
and
Thank
I'm
you for asking. Thank you.
no, I can see where he gets that dimple from. It's real.
Yeah, he does.
So just do what you
I
gotta do. So you're the only person who said that she would sign on. So let me help you with your questions, and then we'll move on. But I'm glad that you got on. So I felt a little yeah. So either I'm the best professor who's ever walked the earth, and everybody knows everything they need to know, or they're not reading their emails, or something in between. So I was
the
back to
email.
yeah, I
You know
forgot.
what it is? I read it and I was like, oh yeah, I'll go to that. And I put it on my calendar, but I should have RSVP to say, oh yeah.
Yeah, I needed that actually. I know what happened was too. Like I actually got an award today from St. John's for the best adjunct professor.
Oh yay.
Yeah,
Congrats.
thank you. So, but I live in Suffolk County. It took me 2 hours to get home. I just
Trick.
got home about 10 minutes ago. So I said I got to get home. I have Avernell is waiting on me. So
Oh, thank you.
no, I'm pleased to be able to talk to you and help you if I can. So are you concerned about the action plan?
I am. Let me tell you why.
What's up?
I feel like I just chose the wrong like course of action because I was looking at like some people are like just trying to increase parent engagement and stuff like that, and I feel like I'm just trying to like heal the world um
Okay,
as far
remind me what you framed.
so I I was talking about resources for um people who are not certified as TESOL but have L students, like how to help the L students. And the thing I was coming up against was that my all of the teachers who are not L certified just think no, L kids are the ENL specialist job.
There you go.
And
Okay.
so I that's what I wanted to focus on, like giving resources to the teachers so that they no longer have the crutch of like, oh no, that's their job.
First of all, you did nothing wrong. Number one. Number two, your mindset that you took, I admire because that's what a good leader is going to do. Look at that, but and the but at the end of my sentence is, and it's not as though I have you, I got you, I know I found something that you did wrong. It's not that kind of but. The but that I see emerging from what you just said to me is what you did was you put your strategy in a certain sense in front of your goal. Now, I'm going to put words in your mouth and take them out again so you'll understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
Your strategy is to help ENL non-certified teachers work with ENL students. Yes, no?
Yeah.
That's the strategy. That isn't the issue. The issue is what you just said. The issue you're trying to solve, and again, now I'm putting words back in your mouth and taking them out again. The issue you're trying to solve is to enable all teachers to meet the needs of ENL babies.
Oh,
See the difference?
okay.
There's another way to look at it too. There's about 10 different ways to look at this. Another way to look at it would be to say, to empower, as I like that word, to empower general education teachers with the confidence to work with ENL children. I kind of like that one better.
Mm.
You know, I was a principal for a long time. I think you said you were a principal.
Mm-mm.
But you would understand what I'm driving at is that I just came from a meeting yesterday. It was exactly about the same thing. It was about special ed, but it's the same issue. When teachers don't feel efficacious, big fancy word for effective,
Yeah,
they don't feel that they can do something. What they
they
do,
can do it.
they look for help. And the easiest way to do it is to give it to the Avernells of the world.
Yeah.
I had a student I guess it's about 10 years ago now, 9 years ago, won the dissertation of the year at St. John's, who was a principal out here. That was further east than I do, actually. I may have told you this. I don't think I did, though. That who had um, his school district's a very diverse district, and it's pretty poor district.
Mm.
There are issues out there in this particular district, and uh, the state cited his building and then all the other elementary buildings in the district
Mm.
disproportionate placement of African American boys. And the state said that's something wrong. You have just too many African American boys who are being referred for special education. And they said fix it. So we began to look at it very carefully. Now it was interesting too, because the African American boys in the district, and it was a pretty good number of kids at that age, were also the ones who were on free and reduced lunch. So there was two issues, and they were also disproportionately, that group was disproportionately being referred to, but they were the same kids. These are poor African American boys. Now, the faculty, I imagine it changed since the dissertation went off. The faculty was, largely white, and it wasn't as though didn't want to do the right thing by the kids. But when a kid acted out, they didn't know what to do. So I won't bore you with the whole story. It's actually a pretty interesting dissertation that he did. But he basically found what I just told you, that they didn't feel like they knew how to work with those students.
Ah, okay.
And he proved it, through all kinds of statistics and interviews. And so the idea of the dissertation was exactly what you're talking about. And when you go for your doctorate, now you know where you go. Now you know where to take this.
Yeah.
I'm totally serious. They didn't know, except now we're not talking about special education kids. We're talking about ENL children, because it's the same thing. I can't talk to this kid. The kid's from Haiti and he doesn't speak English. I can't talk to this kid. He's from China. How many times? And these are all legitimate complaints or concerns. It's not like these people
Yeah.
don't teach the kids. They don't know how. They don't know what to do. So, and there's probably other issues too, but certainly those are the obvious ones. Now, to come back to your point, there's nothing wrong with your point, except what I would do is I would reframe that top box. Let me do this for you for a second. Give me a second. Yeah, I'm gonna share the screen with you. Okay, that's the boxes you have to fill in for your plan, right? So your goals up here.
Okay.
Now your goal, I'm gonna give you a new goal, but not different from what you're saying. It's just we flipped around.
Got it.
So the new goal is, you can kind of remember if I remember to send it to you, to empower general education students to feel confident in teaching ENL children. You can make that sound better than that, but that's the goal. And as you work your way across, you've got a strategy. Now you right now have a strategy, but you were using it as your goal. Now that I'm being a little bit facetious with you because the goals and strategy sometimes, they blur together. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
The strategy is to professionally develop them. Yes, I'm asking.
I have. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Talking to me or to your child?
No, 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 to you. The strategy I'm using is the menu of options to like um make them feel empowered. So if I give them all of these tools that they can use to help in not modifying the lesson to make it more accessible to students, maybe.
All right, I'm going to use one of the fancy words, lesson differentiation strategies. I use big words sometimes.
The buzzwords, yes.
The buzzwords. Now, there's two ways to approach this. I mean, you could use a box for each differentiation strategy that you want to do. So, so strategy one, strategy two, and so forth. Okay. Another way to do it would be, let me add a row below here. Insert row below. Come on. I'm making this up. How about what's the fancy word? Professional. No, what's the word they use? Collegial circles.
Mm.
To share good strategies
Oh, best practices, yeah.
or best practices, right? Give me another one.
For the teachers to do,
Now, for you to to put in place.
um, vocabulary strategies is what I was thinking about.
Okay. How are you going to get that out? You're just going to hand out a piece of paper. You're going to model it. You're going to
I would model I like the vocabulary parking lot for our students because sometimes they can't even access the information because they don't have the
right.
vocab yet.
I like that word parking lot. Let's look at what we just said. Here's your goal to empower general education students. I'm sorry, general education teachers. What I guess. All right, so you're going to make them feel efficacious. And first thing you're going to do, like I always say, I said it 1,000 times in 1,000 videos. I think people are sick of my videos, don't you think?
I know because I use it as a way to walk through the agenda.
I hope so. That's what it's for. I haven't done one for this weekend. I'm so busy. I can't believe it. I'm going to try to do one tomorrow afternoon. But everyone should begin with a needs assessment. So how do you know that the teachers don't feel efficacious? Do you interview them? Do you look at the scores? I mean, you got to identify what your needs assessment strategies, or processes are going to be. And then you're going to say, okay, now that I know where they feel, like I said, it's maybe that they don't feel efficacious, maybe that they don't resistant to change, maybe they like they just don't. Maybe they just don't like kids. I mean, that's something somebody might say. I don't know. I can't say, but you might run into that, or maybe
So the
they.
needs assessment is how I know that this is a need.
Yes,
Like
ma'am.
what measuring tool I use.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So now we see, now look, we've got a goal. And now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 strategies, and you can fill in the blanks here,
Mhm.
including the needs assessment, and never leave the needs assessment out. It's the first thing you do to meet that goal. Now, the next column spoke to criteria for, I usually change the word a few times, you know what I'm driving at. Criteria for evaluation. So how would you know the needs assessment has ideas have worked? When you get good data, I'm making this up. Okay, good info. I'm
Mm.
making that up. Yeah. How would you know that the lesson differentiation strategy, I'm going to change this a little bit, that they see a rationale for? They see a reason to do it. All right. And that might be through
Okay. I found this on the web for is here a reason to do it. Hi, that might be through. Check it out.
Ignore that. I don't know where that came up. See a rationale for lesson differentiation strategies. Okay.
Mhm.
Or you might do that through a workshop. You might do that through examining data. There's all kinds of things you could do. When if they were to see, you would hope. I'm hoping with a capital H here. If
Mhm.
you showed them that the states, you gave a test today, didn't you? Was it today a test day?
Yeah, yeah.
So you get those results back, and you show, well, the Gen A kids, they all scored X, but the ENL kids scored X minus 15. And
Mm.
usually, well, after all, look who they are. They don't speak English, and why are we asking them to take a test where they don't speak the English? You've heard all of those stories.
Mhm.
So, what you would do when you become principal Avernell,
Mm.
okay?
Sounds
When you
good.
become principal Avernell, you're going to have to lead them to see that that it's within their power. We'll come back to that empower word, to learn new premises to diminish the gap. I'm not saying eliminate it, but diminish it. So there's a second strategy, and and then there's more beneath that. So you're going to put them in it. Talking too fast because I'm tired. Forgive me. So the criteria for evaluation would, see whether you. I'm going to change the word good to valid. Valid information. And sometimes people say stupid things. That's not valid. What you hear that you think is legitimate, you go from there. So get valid information. How would you be able to see? I'm asking now. I'm just putting you on the spot.
Sure.
How would you be able to evaluate that you were able to give a rationale for teachers to recognize the reason for differentiating their lessons? What would you do?
To evaluate whether or not teachers can recognize.
The rationale.
Hmm. I- Would this be like an observation where I'd come in and look for?
Yep. Could do observations. That's a great one. I like that one. I wasn't thinking of that one. You could have people sign up for voluntarily sign up for the collegial circles,
Mhm.
and then you would know whether that objective is working, that goal is working, that strategy is working. So what you need to do here is show me that you can tell how these strategies will be evaluated. All too often in teaching and leadership, you make these really wonderful, cute sounding goals. I can write goals all day long, but both of them I always tie behind my back. I've written a jillion of them, but it doesn't mean you. But we do in education too often. Just assume that they've been met. Oh yeah, that worked. So
Mm.
somebody presses you and says, "Tell me why it worked." I was in a district yesterday where the 20% of the kids are ENL kids and disadvantaged, and it's a very wealthy district,
Oh.
except for the 20%. These are the kids were the children of the help that serve the rich people in this place.
Mhm.
All right, so uh, they were miserably achieving on all these exams we use, but you know what? Nobody was taking the time to try to figure out why. And this is a
Oh.
district with more money in its shoe than you and I have right now.
Oh.
when they walked out the door, they said, you know what, we have to work on professional development for exactly the point I'm making here. You know,
Hmm.
we have to work on. We got to work on this.
Because they almost accepted that this group of kids just.
There you go. I'm shouting at you for emphasis. You nailed it. It's okay.
Mhm.
See, that's the difference between Long Island and the city. In the city, okay, you know you've got to work on this.
Yeah.
Out across that city line and north of the city line too, going the other way. I don't know where you work, but there's an attitude. Well, you know, come on, most of the kids do really well. Yeah, most of them do really well because most of them have, you know, they have two parents. They got plenty of books in the house. They speak English. They don't get it. They just don't get it. In the districts that there are districts though like that. I'm working in another district that's got, you know, the same issues that George was talking about. They understand it, you know, and they're working with some of the same things here. So, but the key here is like you need to say to answer the question for yourself is how would I be able to show that the strategy was effective or not? What proof do I have? Now, one thing you can always say, and I don't like to even give the suggestion, but it's a valid suggestion. You say, well, the scores went up. That's a valid criteria, but it shouldn't be the first one. Because the scores aren't going to go up until they get to see the rationale for it, right? And the scores aren't going to go up until they share good practices. And the scores aren't going to go up until they use ideas about teaching and modeling for vocabulary, for example. Not going to go up.
Yeah.
Now, remember now, when I say this to you for a couple of reasons, you're going to take the certification exam. I don't know when, but you're going to be taking it, all right? And you're going to get a question like,
For us in the summer. They're giving us a capstone course this summer.
yeah, you're going to get a question that's going to be sound like this. And in fact, there's a book I'm going to recommend. I don't know if I recommended it. I recommended it to one or two other people already. I'm going to recommend the book and the video whenever I get around to doing the next video, hopefully tomorrow. That's kind of like a Regents review book for people like yourself taking the certification exams.
Oh, what's the name of the book?
You know, it's not in front of me, but I'll give you the author.
Okay.
You find the book. You know what? You stay right there. I'll be right back.
Okay. Thank you.
The St. John's might even give you this. You better check on the capstone. They may give you this book. I'm not sure. It's called Preparing for Educational Leadership. And it's there's two authors. One is Ken Foreman, Forman, and the other one is Jeffrey Soloff, Soloff. And it's just it takes you through the whole test. Gives you sample questions. It's like a Regents exam, you know, Regents review book. You might get this for nothing from St. John's. I don't know where you can check about that, but you might be able to get it. This is a book well worth it. But there will be a question like this. Show me a plan. Show us a plan to make an issue go away. Where that involve looking at data. You're going to get asked that question. So that's why we're doing this. Now we continue to walk our way across. I don't have these in order, Avernell.
Okay.
Just bear with me. Another one will be, you know, what resources are you going to use? You need, you know, money, time, expertise, leadership. Another one would be, oh yeah, I remember this one. I use different names for this, but this is what I usually call it. I did a video about this. I'm not sure if you saw it yet. What are the yes buts? What could go
Yeah.
wrong? Okay.
I
You know, what
saw
are the
that.
instructions? And another one would be, I'm leaving something out. Okay. Or timetable. Now, by timetable, I don't mean April 17th. I don't mean that. Say, what goes first? Which of these strategies should go first? So you can say fall 2023, spring 2024. You can approach it any way, winter, whatever way you want to approach that, just so you can show me that you've thought through which is going to happen first as they build on each other. And then the last one, I don't even look at this one. Like, I do look at this one pretty closely. To me, you need to be able to recognize what
Anticipate the issues.
Amen. And then the last one is who's responsible? Yeah, you could say, well, Avernell is the principal, so she's responsible. But that's nonsense. Yes, as a principal, you'd be responsible, but you could also say, well, central office for getting me the money, or the teacher center, the staff developer, whoever you think is going to take charge of really making the strategy happen.
Okay.
Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to save this for you.
Yes, please.
I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to email it to you. Not immediately, because I have another student calling me up from another class in a minute. I'll email this to you so you have it as a little guideline. I should have taped it for you. I don't know why I didn't do that. But
I think we did. We're recording.
Oh, we're recording. I didn't even realize that. Oh, I'll send you
Perfect.
the recording too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I could remember all the things we talked about.
No, here's my criteria. I'm checking for what I just did. But the criteria I'm going to use is really not a good one. Here it comes. Do you see what you need to do to make the plan work?
Yes. Now I do.
Okay.
My conflation with the issue of my goal versus the strategy is all cleared up. And now I have to think of like concrete ways and strategies in addition to the vocabulary and the collegial circles to make it happen. And my big thing is the yes, but like, yeah, we can do this, but what are some of the obstructions?
That is a big thing, and people tend to overlook that. Now, if you say no,
culture might be one.
Yeah, okay. If you say no, it's okay. Would you mind if I posted this for everybody to see?
That's fine.
All right. Even your little boy, yes, you okay? Are you okay with that? I don't want to. I said I don't know how to edit the Zooms.
It's fine. It's fine.
You're okay with that? Okay. So
yes, I'm okay with that.
So I'll put your vid. I'll put everybody will get to see you and see what we did together, and regret that they weren't with me. As I rub it in and say, met with me together. 1 second, let me just answer this. Tell.
Sure.
There's so many students. That's okay. Okay, so I'm glad you saw it. I'm glad. I'm very pleased to be able to speak to you, and I appreciate how you are so professionally invested in trying to get the best out of what the class can offer you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much for taking the time.
Yeah, but I like to do that. If I have the time, I'll make. I like it. If I don't have the time, I make it. So that's what people do. That's what you would do the same thing, wouldn't you?
I would.
See, then when you go get your doctorate, you're going to do the same kind of thing.
When I go get my doctorate, I'm coming back to you. Remember that. Remember this conversation.
Pinky swear. All right.
Okay.
There for you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Have a wonderful evening.
You too. Bye now.
Okay, bye.
Bye.